Class, my name is Zachary Hill, and this is my presentation on my lesson plan. I have my students with me. Erin, my wife, who is an advanced second grade ELL student, and this is the other student, Dylan, who is an advanced nursery school student who sits in with our class. So throughout the semester, a common strategy that I saw through when I observed the teacher in the ELL setting, and when I was reading on the journal, and it was a constant theme in the book, was using visuals to aid students to help them with their comprehension. So when I was looking up for different learning standards, I found one which was use information gained from illustrations to figure out plot. And I said, this is perfect to really come up with a lesson for students to use illustrations as a comprehension strategy to understand what's going on in the plot. So when I was creating this lesson, I wanted to use different things that we've learned about throughout the semester. One of these things that I learned through the semester was modeling. When I was observing the ELL teacher, she said it's a big thing to model when it comes to your ELL students, because when they observe you, they can pick it up easier. So the makeup of my lesson is kind of what they call a gradual release. It's I do, then as a class we do, and then I allow the students to go off and do the you do, where they work independently. I also have a social element to it, where before we actually work on the strategy, I have students read with a partner. So this, we talked about proper feedback, and one thing that I picked up on that was that getting feedback from peers is a positive way to learn, because it's less stressful, and you can learn a lot from your peers. I talked about modeling. I decided to have to make this lesson plan in a small group setting, because I feel that it's very important to have your kids feel comfortable when they're learning. And one thing that I learned when I was observing in the ELL classroom, the students that I talked to said that when they were in a small group atmosphere, they felt extremely comfortable, whereas when they were with the rest of their peers in the whole group, they were sometimes afraid to talk and make mistakes. So in a small group atmosphere, it's kind of a little more laid back, and kids will have the confidence to participate, to make mistakes, and to learn. And as I said, I use the whole lesson is based on using illustration as a visual to help you with your comprehension. But I also, if you look at my lesson plan, I use vocabulary words where I have little visual cards that go along with it that will help assist with comprehension. Okay, so this lesson is basically where students are going to just kind of look at illustrations throughout the story. They have already read the story. I've read the story to them. They've read the story with a peer. And now they're looking at illustrations throughout the story to kind of use that as a guide to getting a complete understanding of the text. So, my students and I are going to demonstrate a little bit of the lesson. Thank you, Dylan. So pretty much up to this point, I've read the story to the students. They've read the chapter that the two chapters that we're focusing on. They've read with a peer, and I have also, it's all in my lesson plan, but I've modeled what it looks like to analyze a picture and to compare it to what's going on with the text. So now we are at the we do portion, where I'm working with the students on using illustrations with comprehension. Okay, Erin, we are on chapter 10, and you've already read the story, Dylan, as well. Mm-hmm. Now what I want you to do is I want you to look at the pictures, and I want you to tell me what you see, and then just using the illustrations and not the words, tell me what you think that means. So what do you see in this illustration on page 10?
I see Miss Lee on the playground with Theo, Josh, and Izzy.
Exactly. Do they look upset?
They look like they're searching for something or someone.
Okay. So what from the picture helps you know what's going on in the plot.
The way they have their hands up to their eyes, it looks like they're looking around for someone.
Okay, awesome, very good. Thank you. And that was perfect, Aaron. Now, what I want you to do is I want to take your graphic organizer. You are absolutely right. And I'm going to give you about 10 minutes. And I want you to go on to chapter 4. And I want you to look at the illustrations. And on your graphic organizer, you have 2 boxes. What you see is on the first box, and what you know is on the second box. So what you're going to do, you don't even have to look at the words. Just look at the illustrations, jot down what you see, and then what you know.
Okay.
So tick tock, tick tock. She's had about 10 minutes to look at the pictures. And I'm going to demonstrate, this is just a demonstration, but usually I would use the graphic organizer as an assessment to understand, to show that the student knows that, shows her skills in interpreting the information. But Aaron, and what did you, normally I wouldn't go over with the students, I would use this to check at home, but Aaron, what did you see on this illustration on page 13?
So in the illustration on page 13, I see Theo, Josh, and Izzy playing at the sandbox again, and they all look happy.
Okay. And what does that, and what do you know?
So I know that since I also see that the trucks are back, I know that the big boys must have returned the trucks so that they could finish their volcano.
There's just a little idea of what's going on. And in the last illustration, what do you see, and what do you know?
I see one of the kids filling up like a dump truck of water to use for their volcano. And again, seeing that truck back, I know that the big kids have returned the trucks.
Okay, awesome. So that would be all on your graphic organizer. Doing it, Aaron, you can go off to recess. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, sorry about that. All right, guys. So yeah, basically through that lesson, I use a gradual release where the kids kind of already knew the plot. They already knew what was going on in the story. As I said before, these are advanced ELL students, so pretty much that they are on grade level or maybe just a little bit below grade level. And what they need is a little help with the vocabulary and maybe just different literacy techniques such as analyzing illustrations to help kind of develop their knowledge and help support what they read if things weren't clear. And also, when they're reading it initially, being able to just build up and understanding what's going on before they actually read the text. So I just want to thank everyone for an awesome semester. I learned a ton. I actually have ELL students that get pulled out of my class regularly, but just learning everything that I have throughout the semester has helped me with my instruction and my dealing with them. I've always said through the post and through talking to others, I can't imagine how difficult it is for students to be not only learning new information and learning new literacy skills, but also having to learn an understanding of a new language and not getting, in some cases, not getting much help at home if English is not spoken at home. So a lot of things that I've taken out of this course, one of the main things is the importance of students making them feel comfortable in your classroom. I've learned about in my journal earlier that students can get really stressed out, which can hold them back from communicating and participating, although they are still learning. But it's our jobs as educators is for these kids to feel part of the academic community in your classroom and to make them feel extremely comfortable so that they are participating and that they are learning to the full extent. Also, I wrote this in my journal this past week, but I've learned that we need to continue, even after this course, even after we get our degrees, to continue to be a student to education. We need to constantly learn about the newest technologies. We need to learn about the cultures of our students. Will help us with our instruction. Learn about various teaching strategies. And finally, which I thought was amazing that I learned in this class, and there's actually a higher order learning question element to my lesson plan is to never limit our students. Always challenge them, and this gives them many opportunities to extend on their English and their learning by constantly challenging them with the highest level of what's the word I'm looking for, Aaron? Rigor. So, guys, thank you for an awesome semester. I learned a ton from the weekly post and the articles and the whole course. And I wish everyone the best of luck. Thank you.